Good morning, friends. So, welcome back to KPSIRTHETUTOR. And I am KP Sir. I have been teaching experience of more than 28 years in this field. Today, what I am starting is not economics, but English. As the exams are approaching near, I know that everybody tries to find explanation of poems, and the explanation what kids want at the last minute is very simple to understand. But as I always say, that only solution to the question is not going to make you a good student. If you know the content, if you know what is given in the textbook, then you can attempt any question, let it be asked directly from behind the exercise, or let anyone frame a question. So if you have not subscribed to my channel, I would please like you to hit that subscribe button and also the bell icon so that you don't miss any of the interesting videos. Today's video is going to be long. The first poem that I'm going to start today is poem number 1. And the name of the poem is Song of the Open Road by Walt Whitman. Let me explain you how I'm going to build the topic. I am first going to talk about the poet who has written the poem, because that is very important when you start writing your self-analytical questions based on the poem. So you have to correlate your thought process with the thought process of the poet, for which you should know about the poet in short. Talking about the next is the name of the poem and the brief idea, in short, what the poem is actually about. The third point would be the theme of the poem. The fourth would be mood and the tone of the poem. And the fifth, last but not the least, I'm going to explain you line by line the entire poem. So this is the outline of my approach to the poems of your English textbook of Standard 12th. Let's start it now. So when we say about the poet, it is Walt Whitman. And he was a poet who was born in America. He was also an essayist, that means a person who used to write essay, and a journalist. He was born in the year 1819 and he left this world in the year 1892. Whitman is among the most influential poets in American canon and is often called as a father of free verse. When he writes poem, he does not follow a particular trend or a rhyme scheme. He just pens it down. So it's a free verse. So when people read a free verse poem, it actually engrooves them more. It arrests them and they try to finish the poem. So that way he was one of the greatest. Out of his many works, his work of "O Captain, My Captain," which is a poem written on the death of Abraham Lincoln, is very popular. So this is what I summarized for you on who was Walt Whitman. Now we go with the next part, and that is introducing the poem's theme. My dear children, this poem, the first one that we are talking about, Song of the Open Road. This poem talks about the joy of freedom and independence. Whitman describes himself walking on an open road, free from the worries of fortune, and is confident about his own abilities. So, the theme of the poem is freedom, independence, confidence about our abilities so that we know what are we able of, and on our ability we are going to easily survive in this rough and tough world. Now we talk about the mood and the tone of the poem. Song of the Open Road. See how many times I speak the name so that it gets by hearted to the audience who are listening. The overall tone of the poem is positive and upbeat. Whitman is very optimistic about the possibilities that lie ahead of him in his life. His mood reflects joy, hope, and strength. I repeat, his mood reflects joy, hope, and strength. Now we start with the explanation of the lines of the poem. Let's start with the first one now. The first 4 to 5 lines which I would like to take is Whitman's approach to life, where he says, afoot and light-hearted, I take to the open road. Afoot का मतलब पैदल चलना, and light-hearted. Light-hearted implies carefree, joyful spirit. He is happy and optimistic about his journey. Journey both ways, walking from a place to another place, and the journey called as life. The metamorphical meaning over here. The journey is life. Now there is one more word into this. It says take two. This means to begin or to start something. Majority of the time what happens to us is we think a lot, but we don't take that initial step. Here the speaker is beginning his journey on the open road. He does not know what's there. Opportunities, threats, strengths, weaknesses, all are welcome. बढ़ेंगे, कदम बढ़ाएंगे, और अगर मुसीबत आएगी, सामना कर लेंगे. That's the mood of the poet. So we have already completed about the poet of the poem, about a brief idea of the poem itself. We finished the theme of the poem and also the mood and tone of the poem. The next challenging task that we have to learn together is the explanation of the poem. I'm going to explain you each and every line of the poem so that whatever figures of speech to be asked from them, self-analytical questions to be asked on them, you will be in a position to answer them without any difficulty. But for that, please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon, because the explanation part of the video is coming soon. Till then, please take care of yourself and study hard. All the best.